Hello, it's been a while since I, was on this channel. I had another channel that was, not more used for when I was able to talk to, like, EthGoesBOOM and a lot of other people. But, this is not what this is mainly talking about. I'm mainly gonna talk about how I actually, cherished and supported Rye-Rye, though I shouldn't have. I should have known he was a complete waste of space after all the things he did, especially to Mangle SFM and FNAF Fan 126, and how he treated EthGoesBOOM just for, trying to be just as, of a bigger star than what he was. And I can't believe I idolized this man after everything he did. I used to make so many fan art for this man, and I wanted him to, at least acknowledge any of them, and he never did. I was friends with FNAF Fan 126 at the time, and unfortunately there wasn't much I could do, because, but she was always there for me, and she actually told me how, how nice he was, and, but of course she was also, influenced with, him. And same with Mangle SFM. I was friends with the both of them, but I talked to FNAF Fan 126, aka Rebecca, and I had a huge crush on her at some point, and we were still friends at the time, no matter what. But when she actually, stopped talking to me, I felt like, a bit surprised. But I didn't mind though, because, she had her own thing going, and then I had the same thing going when, when she tried to contact me at some point. I didn't say anything back because, I realized there was something obviously weird about Rye-Rye. And then, the whole drama with Eth and Rye-Rye happened, and I was like, what the hell do I do now? So, I didn't know if I was allowed to continue supporting either of them. But I just, did a thing where, I kept it private. Like, I was secretly supporting the two of them when I should have been supporting only one of them. Eth, I am so sorry I never believed you in the first place. I can't believe I actually let him, manipulate us into that. But also the fact that he would lie about you, especially considering you were the one who made me become a fan of him. You were my friend, and I ruined that because I trusted someone over someone who was my friend. I can't believe I actually listened to that idiot, and I should have listened to you instead. I actually regret everything I did. Eth, please just... I am so sorry. You don't have to agree and accept my apology, but just know I was an idiot for listening to him. I actually listened to someone who, I wasn't even friends with. And I chose that guy over someone who I actually ended up knowing more, and I ended up stabbing him in the back. Once again, I'm so sorry. And I never meant to hurt anyone when I was, still talking to him. Just know I am sorry. And if I knew what Rye-Rye was like that back then, I wouldn't have been from following him in the first place, and I would have actually, been on the side that was completely right and actually was saying he is a bad person. I was doing, a lot to actually try and get him to notice me, but I'm glad I never got noticed by him. That noticed. At one point when I actually wanted him to notice me at some point, Rebecca actually did tell him that, I was actually a big fan of his, but he saw that I was still following EthGoesBOOM, and he actually told Rebecca herself that if I wanted to still see his videos, then I had to unfollow Eth. And so I actually lied, saying I would do that, and obviously, handy dandy well, he got what he wanted, but I was still secretly following EthGoesBOOM because, I loved him and I still cared about him. When I mean loved, I mean like, friends. But, of course, it didn't go well because, I should have realized even Rye-Rye he was just problematic. When I was, a big fan of, watching, like, animations and YouTube and all that, there was, like, a lot of artists, like, like flipper clip artists, drawing animators and all that. A lot of them ended up being problematic. But everything that Rye has done, where he lied about, how Eth actually broke their friendship, I should have realized it was him that was the problem. I actually listened to an idiot, and I should have been listening to my friend. And unfortunately, I'm sorry again to Rebecca, because she also got, she got used by him, and so did Mangle. Basically, Mangle SFM also got used by him, and everyone else who, was part of the, the mod, like, the Geeky Z mod with him. I am sorry this all had happened to you. I found out from, Goldie Gamer. Basically, he goes by a new name now, Xanix. He actually came up and told his side of the story, and so did iHeart Games. And now I'm, just like, I can't believe I listened to this idiot. This man not only actually was manipulating people, but I was more surprised to find out he actually, deleted his channel. And it wasn't until my little younger sister had told me he ended up being so problematic. He was even at some stage a pedophile. And I can't believe I listened to it. Yes, I'm just going to keep saying I listened to an idiot. And I shouldn't have. But I was a child. I wasn't supposed to know. And how was I supposed to know? So yeah. I should have realized he was a piece of shit. Like, he really fucking ruined everyone's lives. He couldn't accept the fact that EthGoesBOOM was getting more viral. He couldn't accept the fact that, he was problematic. He just wanted to be a narcissistic piece of shit. And instead of talking about his feelings, and, like, going to tell EthGoesBOOM how sorry he was privately, instead of doing it publicly, that was obviously just bad. Yeah, this is part of my experience with why I shouldn't have listened to this guy. And I am so sorry to anyone who I've actually hurt. God damn, I'm freaking shaking right now. I've never talked on a topic like this, but I am so glad that he never acknowledged me. And I'm so glad I never actually, had him talk to me, because I was still a kid and idolizing someone who turned out to be so completely bad. And I've had stages with, dealing with groomers before. And just the thought of, if he actually did acknowledge me, it would have been bad if I actually did end up being one of his victims like that. But it was bad the fact that my friend Rebecca was getting used that way. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I actually... No, stop saying that. I actually can't believe I was an idiot. I completely feel disgusted by how I supported this man. And to anyone who also supported him, do not ever blame yourselves. Do not blame yourselves for trusting someone who actually obviously had problems, and he took it out on us, but obviously tried to make it so that we help him. So please, don't blame yourselves. I shouldn't be blaming myself for, trusting him. But it still feels bad to the fact that I was one of those people who would go against my own friends and actually trust him. There's just something wrong with him. Why did I just trust him in the first place? Eve, please understand, I never wanted to hurt you. I completely regret everything. I'm so sorry. Just please understand, I'm sorry. And I never definitely wanted to hurt you. I was just a kid, and I completely went against someone who I was supposed to actually trust more than a random stranger who, I thought was cool. Seriously, Rye, we all thought you were cool. And then you do all this shit, and now you wonder why your channel had to be deleted. You deleted it because you didn't want to face the fact that you were problematic, and you didn't want to face the fact that everyone was going against you as soon as you actually finally admitted to everything you fucking did. I'm glad I don't have to deal with you anymore. So yeah, fuck you, Rye.